Hiroics with your host, Hero Brown.
Welcome, my friends, my family, and anybody who's just joining for a ride tonight. Welcome to Paranormal Heroics EP1. Tonight, we will talk about strange, eerie, phenomenal, whatever it may be. But we're going to be in for a ride. Tonight's guest is the one, the only, the Hawk Man. What up, Hawk?
What up, man? How you doing?
Doing phenomenal. Thank you for joining me on this epic adventure.
Oh, of course, my dude. Of course.
So, first things first. Tell me about Hawk.
Well, I mean, first things first. I mean, Hawk is my middle name. It is actually my spirit animal. I was named after it because of my Aztec heritage. So I definitely have that kind of connection to the paranormal and the spirit realm. I've lived in Colorado my entire life, and it, we like we were with each other for quite some time now. So I figured it'd be a good opportunity to get on the stream with you and, well, have a good old paranormal yap session.
Heck yes. That's what we're here for, is for that paranormal experience, the heroics of hopefully overcoming most of these paranormal experiences. So a fast, quick, abridged version of mine, and I'm not sure if I ever told you mine, is when I was a young child, I used to sleepwalk a lot. I slept walk so bad that I would leave my house and walk over to my grandma's or down the street or to the park. And later on, I saw somebody in the distance who I thought was my uncle, tried to catch up to them, couldn't catch up to them. Fast forward all the way into like just a few months ago. I'm 39 myself, so this is 30 years in the making, and I was re-explaining the story to a few of my cousins and my uncle, asking, hey, can you help me put the pieces together? And my cousin was like, hey, that's weird. She said, she was like, you saw the strange man. And I was like, what do you mean, the strange man? And multiple people in my family have seen this strange entity. And then, as we kept talking, at that moment, we all figured out everybody who saw that entity all slept walk. So, I don't know. That's where I am on mine. So I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. That's trippy. It's a little creepy at the same time, just because it only happens to a specific individuals that
Right, like
have to sleepwalk is the ones that are seeing this.
right, and
But the fact that it stayed within your family,
right,
that's nuts.
And then so a few people brought up, well, what about mold or whatnot from hallucinogens? I mean, yeah, but the house was knocked down, and some of the people who experienced the things didn't live in the town.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say. You could chop it up to it being that, if it was maybe a few cases or people that were within the vicinity of the home. But the fact that it's literally spread like through your family,
Right.
and it affects a specific individuals that sleepwalk, like that's not a coincidence. That has to be something.
Has to be something. But enough about me. We're not here for me today. I'll let you interview me next time, because of course there's a lot more rabbit holes that go into this. I'm giving you the short version. Quick shout out, everyone's shouting out my hair real quick. Thank you for the the shout outs for my awesome hair. Give it up for the Hawkmans. Look at that straight. I always wanted straight hair all my life, just like yours. And only recently have I started embracing the fro and just letting it be. But yeah. So, where do we start with your story?
Well, I'm guessing, just like I was kind of telling you a little bit before the stream started, I think the story that I actually want to get into is from my childhood. I can't really specifically remember like around what age. I would say like maybe 7 or 8, because I was still living with my dad at the time, and we hadn't moved into my grandma's house. He was dating this one woman that raised me for a good portion of my life, and she for anybody that doesn't live in Colorado, okay, so in Colorado we have Woodland Park, which is up in the mountains, and then we have Divide, which is even past Woodland Park, like deeper into the mountains, and then if I remember correctly, it goes into like Florissant and a couple other places. But she lived in a house that was just, it was pretty much off the grid. Like it was back past Woodland Park, past all this stuff in the deep forest, like like
That's what I was just
in a
going to
place
ask.
where you can go. Yeah,
The
can get
forest
away
is
with
dense.
stuff. That's how.
Right.
Yes, like that. She would tend to us, watch us a little bit, but it was more or less like you could go outside and you could just roam, like you could go anywhere outside. And me and a couple of other girls, I think one was her daughter, and then one was her daughter's friend. We actually ended up stumbling upon a satanic ritual like site.
What?
Yeah.
Just drop the Satan bomb immediately. Okay.
Yeah. So I will definitely I will set it up. So back in this area, all there is like dirt roads and everything like that. Like that's the main thing. So there's dirt roads, there's trees, there's these little off paths, everything like that. She lived in like this. I don't want to say it was kind of like a trailer, but it was like one of those like double wide trailers, that are
Right.
kind of
Okay.
like as big as that, but it's still a trailer. So she lived in one of those, and I remember very specifically like just being up there. It just had a very like different feel and atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just pitch black at night. It's very eerie when the weather hits there. I don't know. It was just a very weird experience. From what I remember off the top of my head, though, the way that all of this went down was we were just walking along one of the roads down the hill away from her house, and we're just minding our business, and we look over, and this is like where another trailer used to sit, but the trailer literally like it looked like it got hit by a bomb. Like I'm not even kidding you. The top of the trailer the top of the trailer was caved in. Windows are shattered. There's abandoned cars, like the whole 9 yards. Like it looked bad, and it looked like it'd been sitting there for years.
Almost
nobody
like time
decided.
forgot it, right?
Yeah, like nobody decided to go out there, clean it up, nothing. Like it was just it was still. We walked around that area, just being the kids that we are, just trying to explore and everything like that. And I remember walking a little bit further back behind that trailer, and there was this like wooden shed. And it wasn't like one of those like sheds that are like, like just properly built in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, yeah, you could tell that somebody like jerry rigged some trees together, like the whole 9 yards, dude.
I'm waiting for the jump scare.
We so we're just sitting here running around doing some stuff, and I remember seeing like some like kind of like needles and stuff like that, on the ground and stuff like that, probably from them doing drugs out there, stuff like that. And something kept drawing me to go into this shed, to open the door of the shed. And of course, I walk up to the shed with both of these girls. I open the shed, and I kid you not, dude. Like there's like used needles everywhere in this shed. There's wax candles that were like recently lit, and then of course, staring me right in the face is just a giant pentagram. Yeah, when I look back at it and I think of this stuff, I'm like, yeah, I can totally see this happening out in literally the woods where nobody literally, like, you could commit crimes, do anything, and you're gonna more than likely just get away with it.
Right.
But yeah, like there was a giant just pentagram just staring at me. And as a kid, I knew some things, like I knew some things about ghosts, but I really wasn't comprehending it in the moment.
Right.
And of course, I'm sitting there. That's when you start hearing the whispers.
Oh my
Like
God.
yeah, I started hearing like these weird, like kind of whispers. Like you couldn't really make out what they were saying, but you could hear that something was there.
And you're familiar
And
like with tongues, right? Where it's just like kind of
yes,
gibberish and whatnot. Just
yeah,
it's trying to
yeah,
communicate.
yeah. It's like it's trying to say something, but they can't muster up enough energy to actually like say full on sentences.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I hear like you know how when some people like sneak up behind you and they like whisper in your ear without you knowing?
Well, I've never done that to my wife ever.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sorry,
So
Ray.
I'm sitting here staring at this pentagram and I'm hearing these like whispers, and then all of a sudden this very distinctive like female voice just like starts whispering, and then all I hear is "Get out."
Just straight
And then
up.
she just oh yeah, and then she yelled, like it literally sounded like somebody yelled like in my ear. She's like,
Just
"Get out now!"
what the
Oh yeah,
fuck?
and
Sorry for cussing.
yeah, as soon as that happened, all three of us just took off. Like I heard it. Yeah, I heard it like the most. But the two girls, her daughter and her daughter's friend, both heard it at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and we literally just scattered. And I'm not even talking about fast walking back up to the house. We were running through the hills
Full
to
sprint.
get away. Yeah, full sprint to get away from this. We told her mom, and of course, right after we said that and everything, she said, "No, you guys aren't allowed to. You're not allowed to go out anymore."
What? Why not?
Yeah, like right after that, she's like, "No, you guys, you're not allowed to go out anymore." And still, even after that incident, um, every time I went back up to that house, dude, I literally just it felt weird. Like I like during the night. It was especially during the night, and of course, like, all the paranormal stuff that like is really creepy like happens like during the night.
Of course, it does. I mean,
And um I remember a lot of that, like just staring out the windows, and you could see like like it seems like figures or like something is like moving in the distance, and this all happened after that incident.
a popular thing going on chat right now is skinwalkers.
Like that, yeah, I know, right?
So
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
before you go too much
That
further, I got a quick question about the whisper itself. So
yeah.
I can't say if did you talk to the other girls about the whisper? Like you say you felt it next to your ear. Did they feel it next to their ear? Or if you kind of really think about it, do you think it was like directly into your brain? Like it was a like what I mean by that? Like it was like something telepathic telling you to get out.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the funny thing is that it's a good thing the chat brought that up. Was like it sounded directly like you hear it through like a headphone, like you're
Oh
listening
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
music
yeah.
or
That's
a podcast.
exactly
Yeah,
okay.
like I heard it that close. They heard it more as like somebody like not necessarily in the distance, but close enough to like hear an echo of them yelling it.
Mm.
And one of the girls, literally the not the daughter, but the friend's daughter, like straight up tried to like say, oh no, it was me that said it and everything. And I was like, no. It was like, I know how you sound, and that right there sounded like I don't even know how to explain it, dude. It sounded like some bloody, like, like witch scream,
Oh,
I was
what?
like, no.
Oh, sorry, you broke up right there. Hold, give it a second to catch up. You're back. We lost you there for a second.
Okay. But yeah, no, the stuff sounded like a bloody witch scream, dude. It didn't sound like some little, like I've literally experienced a paranormal to where I've heard little kids before, but no, that sounded like like a grown female voice. And yeah, no, like they heard it, but dude, like it literally sounded like somebody was like talking right in my head, dude, and it was bad. And then after that, like I was saying, like a bunch of weird stuff at that home started happening after that.
That was the
But
trigger.
I could yeah, that was the trigger. And what I think is, when I think back on it, typically when you come across, it doesn't matter, just like demonic spirits, ritual grounds, everything like that. There's something that attaches to you or to the people that are with you.
Definitely.
It could attach to all of you guys. It could attach to one specific individual.
Yep.
A lot of people, they still don't really necessarily, but
Give it one more second. 1 second. I don't know why we're hitting digital burps all of a sudden. We're going so good, and now all of a sudden all the digital burps started happening. Let's see. Give it a try now.
It's like they're trying to prevent it.
Right? They don't want you to tell the story.
Yeah.
By the way,
tell the story.
Chat, you guys are all cursed now.
Jesus.
Oh, that would suck. That's movie stuff, though. I don't think ghosts know how to use Wi-Fi.
Turn this into a ring situation.
Oh my God, no! I should have had that. I should have had that video queued up and played it right after this. Oh, welcome, first time chat. I'm not even joking. You finished telling the story. Now it's not letting you talk. Holy crap. Why would it, like, so me and Hawk here have been talking for over an hour and we haven't had any problems. And now that he's telling this story, it is completely messing up. Wow. Oh, and now he's offline. Now he's gone. He's gone forever, guys. Let's get him back on, let's get him back.
We back?
We're back. That is weird as hell.
Yeah, that link that you sent me, it literally shut off the actual like stream right there for a second before you just rebooted something.
Yeah, no, I had to close you out and log you back in. And like I was just telling chat, we've been talking, getting things set up for over an hour now. And that is crazy because even before you, me and Lady Ray have been practicing and getting things set up to make it look decent. I don't know why it just started doing that. That is so weird.
No, that's one of the big things they like to they love to mess with electronics and stuff like that. They will drain the energy out of electronics and cause malfunctions.
Right. So this is going to be a question for the end, but you're kind of answering it now. So do you still feel like it's attached in some way?
Not the specific, to be completely honest, not the specific like entity in general, but because I am so attached to paranormal and the spirit realm in general, from, let's just say, I'll get into that in a later conversation.
Right.
Some very questionable decisions that I've made in my life that kind of like, I threw myself down that rabbit hole. I do feel like, especially, there's a reason why I don't watch like Ghost Adventures or watch paranormal stuff or really talk about it, because it's like it's slowly cracking that door back open for them to come back to.
Words
it's
have
like
power. You know what I mean? Like you say
Yes.
it and it's there.
It's like being a charged beacon for it.
Right.
But going back to that, since it seems to be fine now, I remember specifically that a couple of the other incidences that happened after that is what the girl that was actually there, not the daughter, but her friend, actually ended up. I think it was like a couple weeks after this. She was jumping on the trampoline and ended up something happened to where she busted out the whole entire like front side of her mouth, like her teeth and everything.
What
And
the?
it was so bad that we had to rush her to the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's
So,
haunted. I think it's just trampolines. Trampolines are a death trap, but that's just me.
yeah, but I mean the coincidence though,
No, no, no. You're absolutely right. I'm just
that,
dumb, and I did dumb things on trampolines, and that's
oh,
my own fault.
same here. Same here. And I mean, as a kid, that's what I chopped it up to. But I mean, when I got older and I was just thinking about it, I was like, these things like they 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 they're lining up to be way too suspicious as it just being a accident,
Right.
So I was all like, no, we stumble upon a site, and then this a bunch of weird stuff starts happening afterwards, and then that is like the icing, right on top of the cake is literally she happens like it wasn't just like a little injury, like no, she quite literally busted out of her face.
It started to do it again. This is weird. Every time you start to talk about this, everything starts to mess up. Oh, wow. If you can still hear me, Hawk, I am going to send you a new link. Everyone, please bear with.
Okay.
If you have questions, please use the viewer points, the channel points, to highlight questions, and we'll take a note of that to ask towards the end. Give me 1 sec. Hawk, if you can hear me, I'm going to send you a new link.
All right, I got you, man.
That is absolutely wild. Every time he starts to talk about this, it messes up. And like I said, we've been talking for a good while now, and this hasn't done this. Like the digital burps and everything. This hasn't happened. And again, with Lady Ray and I practicing and doing things, it's never done that for her either. But as soon as he starts to really get into his story, it's like trying to shut him up. Am I saying that's what's happening? No. Could it be what's happening? Definitely. And as soon as he gets into like the detailed parts too, every time he gets into the detailed parts, it's just like, no, you can't hear it. Might be too many people watching. Nah, I have had higher view weights. But then again, if anybody is watching on YouTube or on Instagram, I cannot see your chats. I apologize. We are taking all chats on Twitch right now. So look me up on Hero Brown on Twitch if you want to talk. And then towards the end, we will be taking some good chats from the chat, and we can ask Hawk directly, or if you have questions for me. Oh no, we're getting DOS attacked. It's like Sony PlayStation all over again. Oh no, now he's having a hard time connecting. That is wild. And of course, anybody who's on who wants to be a little heroic and tell the world about their little paranormal experience, I love to, deep dive with you and get to know, this story. But, real quick, as we're waiting for Hawk to jump back in, hi to everyone. Goblin, what's up, my man? Chris, great to see you. Green Anime, always great to see you. There he is. We can see you again.
Oh, I was gonna say, dude, my phone started going haywire when I tried to click that link.
That is so weird. Like,
Literally, my screen started glitching out, and it tried to call you.
that is, what the heck?
I'm not even kidding you, dude. Yeah.
Oh, if either of you have Spotify running in the background or not? No. All I have running in the background is I got Hawk on here. I have that nice subtle rain running, but I have no other internet going anywhere else. So hopefully we can get there. Okay, so the last we left off, you were on a trampoline. She got busted up real bad. That's probably the last thing I heard right there.
Yeah. Well, okay. So at the time, Woodland Park didn't even have a hospital. Might I add? They just recently built a hospital, like not even too long ago. I'd say, well, like within the last like 5, 6, maybe years or something like that. So she ended up having to be rushed like all the way down to Springs, and from all the way out there, that's like an hour and a half
Right.
out of the woods. So it was something that if it was anything worse than that, like she could have died.
Definitely.
Like that was the cherry right on top of the cake that I was like, no, that like as a kid, I'm just being stupid. I don't really care and everything like that. I'm just like, oh well, whatever, stuff happens. But then as an adult, you just like you're saying, you pick these little things and you start putting the pieces together. You're all like, oh, this is a little weird. And then like even then, even after that, when I slept up there, like I would have these nightmares.
Right.
I mean, like everybody knows that everybody knows about bad dreams. When you wake up, you've had a bad dream. But what I've noticed, especially being so attached that I am, and I've done a lot more research, the difference between just a bad dream, a nightmare, and something that's deeper than that. I'm not going to say it's like a possession or anything like that, but you'll have like a nightmare that seems so real, and when you wake up from it, like you are like drenched in sweat, like in your whole entire bed and area is just drenched in sweat.
Right.
That is like that's the biggest telltale sign that what you are experiencing has to be something that is like infiltrating your dreams,
down to your
that is
soul, right?
that's causing that, because everybody's had a bad dream, but
Right.
there's not very many dreams that you wake up and you are like the whole entire like bed is like drenched in sweat, you're drenched in sweat, you're like waking up in a panic, heart's racing. Like, no, I experienced that after that incident. Every time I went up to her house, I experienced that. And of course I didn't say anything to her. I
Right.
didn't really care. I was just a little kid. I just
Right.
wanted to be up there, spend time with her and her daughters, and play my video games and just be a kid. But that was probably one of the most pivotal things in my childhood that I absolutely scared the crap out of me.
Definitely, man. Satanic rituals, whispering from your brain head. One thing, going back to that real quick too. So I try to put logic to a lot of things, right? And I not saying any of my things are really good logical, but some things that could happen, because you said the one friend, she's the one who possibly said something, right? She could have been the one who said it. It could have been talking through her, you know what I mean, and just using her as the vessel. Just an idea, just to give you some nightmares tonight, right? But not saying that is what it is. So like the beginning whisperings and stuff too, of course, trees talk when wind goes through it, and it has that slight whistle. It could be, but obviously it's kind of hard to account for the screaming in your ear. So not much we could really, say or do anything. That it's too many dominoes lining up to not be, a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
But
and I mean, the thing that wraps it all up together is the energy
Oh yeah.
That's what I have to. That's what I really have to say. Like the energy was so like thick, and you like
Mhm.
it's weird. Somebody now that I get older and I know that I'm in the realm of a spirit or any type of paranormal is the energy. The only way I can describe it is it gets so dense that it's like you can feel it on your chest.
Right.
Like it feels like something's pressing on your chest. Yeah, that when I open the door, it to hit chest with that type of energy and then seeing the whole ritual site right in front right there, oh my no, like there
Ooh.
was way too many things that
So
were just adding up that just didn't make sense.
I got a quick chat question for you. When you
Yeah.
experienced the main event there, do you remember how the area smelled? If so, how did it smell? This comes from Chaotic Goblin.
To be completely honest, there wasn't a smell to it, and I know exactly where he's coming from because there has been times where I've been in situations where you do get that weird like smell, maybe like sulfur, like
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Oh,
It could
sulfur's
be
not a good
it
thing,
could
right?
Yeah, it's an amazing smell too.
Right.
No, it wasn't. There wasn't really any smell or anything like that. It just smelled like the forest. It was just more or less. It was
Definitely. That makes sense because thick as it is and stuff, and those trees do give out a pretty good, nice or aroma.
And I mean, I could understand where he's coming from too, because I mean, as a kid, and I don't remember looking back, I don't know what the hell that pentagram was drawn out of.
Right.
Like especially with all the needles and all like the drug paraphernalia and everything just littered all over the place at the same time. That could have just been, I don't know, a marker. Could have been somebody's blood. Could have been an animal's blood.
Right.
Like it wasn't something that you see out of a horror movie, like
Right. Right. Right.
like carcasses and like no. But I mean, it was plain as day. And as a kid, I was like, oh, there's a star on the ground.
Right, right. You didn't know what the hell it
But
was yet. Yeah, no, I
oh
get
yeah,
you. I
no,
get
I
you.
didn't know
That
what it
makes
was.
perfect sense.
I knew more about the needles and the candles and stuff like that. And then as I got older and just like looked back on it, I was like, that was a pentagram on the floor of that. Like
Like
it's weird.
I
It's
could have
weird how these
died.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, especially because you, at the same time, it's good. It's funny that you bring that up because that's why the mom was so scared when we told her about it. Is because you don't know, there could have been one of those cultists literally roaming out there at the time.
Right, and
And you
Colorado is
literally
known
just
for that.
stumbled.
So I'm not sure.
Yes, and you just stumbled upon one of their like sites where they're like doing rituals. Like, oh my god, no, she was absolutely terrified. And when I say like when we described it to her, and she got white in the face, dude,
Right.
like it looked like all the blood drained from her body because, and she knows. I didn't bring this up, but she was a Wiccan,
Oh, okay.
so like she knows about all the like rituals. She had what you call it, kind of like an apothecary, I would say. Like she had like things to like make potions or whatever you guys want to call it and stuff like that.
Right.
Like
Right.
yeah, she was great Wiccan. So and it scared her to the point where she was just like, oh my god, she's like, I could have literally lost all three of you guys.
Right. Right.
And but yeah, like now that when I look back on it, I'm like, dude, we seriously could have turned around and it could have been like a straight scene out of a horror movie. There could have been somebody out there like
100%.
just waiting to just nab what, because
Holy shit.
and I will say it 100%. You're not getting away from that. 100%.
Okay.
You stumble upon that and you turn around, it's done game. You're not getting away.
So just saying that, and then just the idea that popped into my head, dude. The whole reason why you heard that voice to get out, I'm pretty sure was there to protect you guys. Get the hell out, before whoever comes back.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. It's just something.
It could have been that. It could have been. It literally could have been another spirit. Because I mean, when
Right.
it comes to those sites, the weird thing is just like when people, talk about doing Ouija boards or summoning spirits and this and that. Like it's not like you can't just like channel the spirit of a specific individual and literally just like talk to it. No, like anything and everything can pop out when you're messing with spirits, paranormal, in the vicinity of anything. It could be a good spirit, it could be a bad spirit, it could literally just be a mischievous spirit,
Right.
just a spirit that would just likes to screw with people. um but that to me, when that happens and you hear that and you think about it, and yeah, no, after that, I a lot of the times when I was up there, a lot of the stuff I just like would just put it out of my head. But no, it was after that incident, dude, it was creepy going up to that place every time.
Definitely. Jeez. Oof. Oof. So
My
what?
yeah, this place wasn't that long. It wasn't that far down the street too.
Right.
I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like it was within running distance. Like we got back to the house within like 10 minutes.
Oh my god, dude, that is like the perfect setup for any horror movie, anywhere. Like that
Mhm.
is the building block. So, what's chapter 2? Where do we go from here?
Um. So I was gonna say if you wanna hear another one right now,
Or
I'll do it.
if you have
I'll
more
do it a
to the
little.
story to say, keep continuing on the story. If you want to move on, then we can move on. The ball is in your
I
court.
mean, there's not too much to the story. I mean, if there's any questions or anything like that, I will answer anything. It's just more or less the coincidences of that, and having the nightmares, and it was a consistent thing of just, and it was just when I was up there too. Um, and to anybody that wants to like move out to the forest and everything, to be like aware of
Oh,
where you're moving before you move into the location scope. And I mean, not just a couple feet around your house. I mean, you need to go acres out and make sure you have people with you, because it is just a very different atmosphere. Once night falls, it is nothing like living in the city. You may be scared of somebody like possibly being outside your door and stuff like that, but when I say that I got legitly terrified out in the woods after that incident of like looking out the windows, and it was a constant like, once that sun fell, like I would constantly feel like there's something staring at me.
oh
It didn't matter
yeah.
where I was in the house. Like I all something was looking at me, and I didn't want to look out windows. I didn't even, because when you walked into our kitchen, this is what sucked. When you walked into our kitchen area, she had a whole entire like front window panel to the front of the actual trailer that wasn't covered by any blinds, wasn't anything. So you legitly like seen down her driveway into the forest, and like
You're going into detail, and it doesn't like you doing that.
it's it's definitely a very strange time when you're out there in the wilderness, let's just say.
So we have another quick question. This is from my mama. Actually, my mama. Have you? Oh, wait, where is it? Okay. Have you ever went back to the same place as an adult?
No, because to be completely honest with you, one thing that you never do when you unless you want to be a little daredevil and or stupid, you never go back to sites like that. Period. If you go back to sites like that, it's kind of like when you escape death. You don't want to knock on death's door again.
Right. Right.
So don't go back to the sites. Don't try to do anything like that. I actually have a story for later on and or another episode if we decide to do more of this, of me doing that daredevil stunt and going back to a previous site and kind of poking the bear again. Mainly because I was so young, and as an adult, I literally couldn't even tell you where the house was actually located.
Oh damn.
To be completely honest with you, there's no way that I could literally, off the top of my brain, know exactly where to go, because once you get past Divide, past Woodland Park and you start going further, you have to kind of use landmarks to remember where to turn, where to go.
Right.
There's not just street signs out there. Like
No.
you have to, it's like living in the wilderness. Like you have to use landmarks, and there's actually people that will, at specific turns, they put stuff near the road or like signs or like posts
Right.
or some type of like marker to make sure that this is where you turn. I wouldn't for the life of me be able to actually pinpoint where the place is. And then on top of that, that was 20 probably years ago.
Right. Completely different now.
That place is either gone, lost to time, anything could have happened. But even if somebody came up to me and was all like, hey, you want to go back to that satanic ritual site, that you got away from when you were a kid, I would have been like, you can't pay me enough.
That's not till season 2, so we'll do that next year.
But going season 2, we'll up the ante.
Yeah, right.
Matt's gonna lock me in the shed.
That's right. We're gonna go there. You're gonna stay there all night long. I ain't, because I'm afraid of wolves and bears, but because that's a whole nother thing. But no.
He's gonna lock me in the shed, and I'm not coming out until light.
Yep.
If I survive.
Yep. But
yeah, I did. To be honest, I wouldn't do that. Like
no.
that was to be honest, that was like one of the scariest, by far the scariest. I've experienced some stuff in life, but there's a difference of experiencing stuff that you can physically see that could hurt you and is like right in front of you, and just experiencing something that it's not explainable.
Definitely not. Like that's the whole point of this, is like just putting it out there in the open, getting this breath of fresh air, maybe getting some ideas from other people, you know what I mean, and putting it to rest also at the same time, because my biggest problem is I can't help but think about this once in a while over the dumbest things too. Like I'll be playing a video game or watching a movie, and then I'll be like, I wonder what this was, and then I'll overthink it. We got another question from Miss Lady Ray. Are you still in contact with those other people?
I'm not in contact with the mother, but I do definitely still speak to both of her daughters.
Ooh,
I'm actually really good friends with both of her daughters. The mom after a while in my life, around I would say about 20 years old or what, seen some like we kind of ended up parting ways, just in a sense,
Which
like I grew up as an individual. I noticed some things that I just didn't like, and I just left it at that. I'm not the type of person to put it like all on blast and everything like that.
Of course.
Which is actually surprising, because
oh my god,
her daughter.
Thanks. Oh my god. Somebody followed and the giant brown note just happened. I'm too busy listening to you. Whoever just followed, I didn't see it. You scared me. We're good. I'm sorry. All of a sudden the brown note. Wait till you rewatch it. I know you can't hear it. Oh god. I told you that was going to happen too.
Oh, I bet.
God, we'll post that one later.
You're all like, let's do a rewind on that one. Replay.
That's right. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, and I jump so easy.
I'm more or less surprised that, her daughters even know about the whole situation. They were there to experience everything, They don't care. They still consider me as a brother and stuff like that. Like when I say that I was raised by her and I was around her daughters, I'm like saying like probably 10 plus years of my life is, I was raised with them. So we're kind of, it's like family that's not really blood.
Right. Which, I totally relate to that, because like I call my brother, his user tag is Gamers for God, and we're not blood related, but he is my brother. Like he's been in my life since middle school. He helped me graduate. You know, he kept me on the straight, helped me keep on the straight and narrow to stay away from bad influences. So no, I totally understand that 100%.
Hmm.
But all right, so what is this? I'm ready for this next story. Let's dive into this one now.
I was gonna say I'll tame it down a little bit for this next one. So a little bit of a backstory for people that don't really know. I was kicked out of my house when I was 14 years old. I will say it wasn't because I was a bad kid. It wasn't because, I was doing stupid things, everything like that. My my father, he he kind of had a breakdown, couldn't take things, stuff like that, probably due to some personal reasons. Don't really dive too much into that, but
Which
he
is
ended
fine.
up kicking me out when I was 14. So I ended up couch surfing a lot. I ended up staying with one of my friends and his mom, and so we ended up moving into an apartment complex. And this was around that time. Like I will say that don't do the things. Don't do the things that I've done personally, because around that time I was so pissed off and angry.
Right.
I legitly thought that because I wasn't that bad of a kid and all of this bad stuff that was happening to me, I legitly thought like it was the devil's work, like he was trying to sabotage and, just ruin my life and make me want to, absolutely like lose my mind. So that's why I said why I ended up doing stupid things. And so I ended up legitly chasing after spirits and chasing after demons and chasing that type of stuff. Because I figured like if you're gonna like in a sense one day take my life, well, I'm gonna try to battle it out with an army in a sense.
Right.
Stupid 14, 15-year-old me.
Hey, you can take on the world then,
So
right?
when yeah, that's yeah. So being stupid like that, I ended up. That's why I said it ends up opening the doors when I speak about this or hear things, because I'm so connected to it, because it's been like two.
You say that, and it starts glitching immediately as soon as you say it.
But I do remember we lived in an apartment, and it was me. Zach, my friend, actually happened to move back to, I think it was either Arkansas or Tennessee with his family, because he didn't like living with his mom anymore, but she didn't mind taking care of me still.
Blessing.
I lived with them. Um, it was me. It was her and her youngest daughter. Her name was Zoe, and she was, I think, I would say she was like maybe like 5 or 6 years old.
Hold on. I think we're gonna have to reset again because as soon as you dive deep into it, it just does not let you talk. This is this is like blowing my mind. Like I'm really getting into the story and then just like nah, you can't say it. All right, let's take a quick break. We have already been at it for almost an hour. I'm gonna reset everything, guys, and then we're gonna get right back to it. So give us 30 seconds. Again, this has never happened. Like we were talking for a full hour straight, getting everything, and not until the moment he starts getting into his story does it glitch, and it's kind of freaking me out. Everything like I just rechecked my internet. I'm running at almost a gig speed and everything. He has really good internet too, but my goodness, that's the plan. Skylord is to save people from the demons. Welcome back. We just got Luke gifted 5 subs tonight, so again, thank you. I cannot appreciate it more. So everybody who doesn't know what gifted subs, if your name is on there, that means you guys won't see commercials anymore for a month or 30 days, which is amazing. I greatly do appreciate it, brother. Thank you. All right, so where did we leave off? Everybody was scaring me with the alerts again, so I kind of lost my train of thought.
We're talking about the apartment that we moved into.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, like I was saying before, like just don't be stupid like I am. I'm just gonna give a disclaimer to people. Like I know that the paranormal seems like it's fun and everything like that, but coming from somebody that was stupid when they were younger, don't go chasing it. If it happens to you, be able to, know what to do to protect yourself and protect the people that are around you, because it won't just only affect you, it'll affect the people that are around you. Um, but don't go chasing it.
Definitely.
Because I went down a very like dark, deep rabbit hole when it came to this stuff, and yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like we were saying earlier in the stream, like it's like poking the bear. You
Right.
don't want to knock on death's door, so you don't want to. I was able to get out of the hole and was able to escape. But I know there's people out there that have similar stories and stuff like that that didn't necessarily, weren't able to pull themselves out of this. But that's just like my disclaimer. Just don't go chasing it.
Right. Okay.
Um. So this actually happened. Particular story happened after another that I want to save for another stream if we do this again, because it's kind of a very long story and
Okay.
it involves some very weird things. So the other story happened after this, and so this is when we lived in the apartment. So you have the living room, and you have the little sliding glass door that goes out to that little small balcony thing, that
Right.
people get in some apartments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, then you have the kitchen next to the sliding glass door with the laundry room and stuff like that. Then in the reflection of the actual glass, you can see the night light that was put in the hallway going down the hallway. There was my room that was on the right hand side, and his mom's room, her daughter Zoe's room, was all the way in the back. Hers was on the left and Zoe's was on the right. So, of course, this happened to be a night too where I was watching Ghost Adventures,
Of course.
oddly enough. Yeah. So I'm sitting here watching the TV, and I see this like reflection out of the glass of it. Looks like somebody like walked in front of the nightlight. It was like either going to the bathroom or something like that. And I paused the TV, and I like looked at it for a little bit more, and then it happened again. And so I thought like maybe one of them got up and stuff like that. Might I add, Zach's mom was a very heavy drinker. Like she drank bottles and bottles of liquor every single night. So I thought maybe it was her getting up to use the bathroom, stuff like that. I walk down the hallway, and I'm starting to feel that tension, that energy. And I'm walking down the hallway. I look into Zoe's room, and she's out cold on her bed. She's literally passed out. I look into his mom's room, and she's literally out cold. Like, in both of the lights are out. There's nothing, they are out cold. So I found it really strange. And then I ended up, after a while, I went to bed, woke up the next day, and Zoe she's like telling me about this old man. And
Oh.
what are you like? I'm like sitting here because it's hard to dissect a story from a 5-year-old child. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm sitting here trying to figure out what she's talking about, and she's saying that sometimes that she sees like this old man like in the house at night. And I was like, are you talking about like in the apartment? And she's like, yeah, he's not mean, he's not anything. He just walks back and forth, and he has kind of like one of those, kind of like fancy trench coat type things, and he has like one of those like almost fedora type hats on. And the fact that you can get that type of a description from a 5-year-old little girl, like throws up a flag.
Just a little.
So, yeah, so I ended up talking to my friend's mom that I was staying with. I ended up talking to her, and she said the same thing. She's like, "No, I know exactly who she's talking. She's like, I don't see it as often, but she's all like, I've seen it when I'm laying in bed." And because I didn't want to talk to her first about it, because I was literally, when I was a kid, a teenager at the time, I was like, "Oh, you're just drunk,
Right,
like
right.
you don't know what you're talking about. Like you're a whole bottle of whiskey and you don't know what you're talking about."
I'll be
And
seeing
she's like,
shit
"No,
too.
I know." Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Um, but no, she legitimately was like, "No, I don't see it often, and I don't see it as vivid as, but I have seen an old man like walking up and down the hallway, and it's just the hallway. It's not like he goes into people's rooms, he does this, he does that." And so at first I was like, okay, that's a little strange. And then it happened again a couple nights after that. Like I ended up seeing something in the reflection, and I was like, okay, this is super strange. So do harm to me or anything like that. I don't need you on my team.
Right.
Other than that, just do whatever you need to do. I was like, I need the hardcore spirits. And so I didn't care about it. And
Right.
so I went about my thing. I started dating this girl. I think at the time I was like in sophomore year. I think she was a freshman and I was a sophomore. But I started dating this girl, and she ended up coming over to the apartment to like stay the night. And this was probably the creepiest thing that I've experienced. Actually getting a response from something.
Right.
So we're sitting here laying in bed in my room, and all of a sudden you start to hear like these little like taps, like on the wall above our heads. And I'm hearing like this like this tap noise. And she's all like, yes. But like when you tap your fingers on like the walls
Right.
of the
Right.
house. And so at first I just thought it was like, because we did have the power box like right in the hallway.
Right.
So I thought maybe it was like one of the things or whatever in the box. I open up the door, nothing's in the.
It doesn't want you to finish. Hold on. If you can hear me, hold on. Give me a check.
Check.
You're still breaking up a little bit. Let this digital burp go
Ooh.
through. That is crazy.
Oh,
Again, it never fails. As soon as you get into detail about these things, it just messes up. Okay, so you heard the tapping. You checked the hallway.
yes,
Nothing's there.
yes. I go back into the room. At this point, I go to lay down in the bed with her, and she's absolutely terrified at this point. And so after that, I started asking questions. I was like, are you here with us? And
Oh
of course, when
no.
when I said that, you hear like this tapping noise again. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so, okay, so when you're underneath a blanket, it's super hot, especially when you're sleeping next to somebody. But when I
It's doing it again. I don't want to say it's a coincidence. I don't want to say this is, the whatever it is that just doesn't want you to explain it to us, but like anytime you go into detail, it just wigs the hell out and it's freaking me the hell out. Oh my god. Everybody, I got Chris saying he's gonna FedEx you some holy water, and next time we do the stream, we need to hit your house with some sage and bless everything. We need to put a barrier up around you so we can have a good stream through. we need need some Google Holy Fiber. There we go. We're gonna bless your internet.
Google Holy Fiber. I just need Gandalf the Grey next to me.
Yep, that's right. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Is the digital blow?
I am trying.
Are we good?
We're good. We're good. So you heard the tap. You start asking questions, which, oh, you silly, silly boy. Oh no. So what happens after you start asking questions?
So after I start asking questions, I took my arm and I brought it out from under the covers, and the whole room is like ice cold.
No.
And at this time, my girlfriend is absolutely just freaking the hell out. She's like, what's going on? She's like, I'm scared. This, and I was like, don't worry about it. I was like, it's not here to hurt us, because I knew it was the old man. Like, I knew it for 100% fact.
Right.
And I said, and I remember asking the question. I was all like, I asked, I was all like, if you're here right now, do something to let me know that you are here with us right now. And at the time, I had Zoe didn't want like her lamp in her room or something like it. It was like one of those little pink, frilly like Barbie lamps. You know what I'm saying? And I kept hearing like this jingle, you know, of something in the distance, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, whatever. And I ended up hearing the jingle, and then I finally just like, okay. I was like, you're starting to scare my girlfriend. You're starting to, you know, you're going a little too far. I know that you're here, but you need to leave. And after I said that, everything went back to normal. The room, the temperature in the room went back to normal. You know, she didn't sleep that well that night. I wonder why. But we went about, you know, whatever we were doing. And then I woke up the next day, and I went to go turn on the lamp. And as soon as I grabbed the lamp and I pulled it down, the same...
That's a weird sound. Hold on. Dude, just everything about this right now is really freaking me out. Like, it is glitching like no other. Like, it doesn't even sound like you. Hawk, you still there? And the picture that like you look pissed off. This is freaking me out because like you're frozen. If you can hear me, your picture's currently frozen. Oh, we are going to get this story. We're going to get through this. I don't care what entity is stopping us or whatever weirdness is going on. We are going to get through this thing. That is crazy. Right? Like it is straight up. He looks like he's completely. Can you hear us?
I was gonna say it just dude. It just literally just kicked my thing off
Dude,
again, and
so
then restarted
it. You looked like the freeze frame that happened. It barely looks like you. You look like completely wigged out, angry, and like the way it was doing it this time. It sounded like a different voice was trying to come through. And I'm not saying that's what it is. I know it's digital burps. I'm not saying that this is anything, but this is... I'm going to have a hard time sleeping tonight. Oh my God. Is it already messing up again? Okay, no, you're there. You're there. You were just sitting still.
Oh, we're good now?
You're good. You're good.
Okay, so what was the last thing that you heard?
What was the last thing we heard? Oh, man, I got so freaked out with your angry voice because you're just looking at me like you're going to murder me. I kind of just forgot everything. So you were going through, you guys slept through the night. That's honestly where
okay. Well, then that was like right at the end. Okay. So I got up the next day and I tried to turn on the lamp.
Oh, that's what it is. Right.
When I pulled the pin down from the lamp to turn it on, it made the exact same noise that I heard the night before.
Oh.
Yes. When I said do something, he was trying to turn the lamp on.
And that's the thing too. Like when you hear that sound, like when you don't know what it is, and you weren't even looking for that sound. It's just as soon as
Oh
you
no, it was pitch black in the room.
right, and as soon as you hear it, you're like, I know what this was, and then
Oh
like all the
yeah,
connections hit.
it's like what is it when you feel like you experience something or whatever?
Deja vu.
And, yeah, deja vu. It literally like hit me, deja vu. I was like, that is the second. And I looked at my girlfriend. She was like, I was like, that is the sound. He tried to turn on the lamp.
Ugh.
And then, but the weird thing is, after I said to go away, like never, there was no, we never heard of that spirit coming in the house ever again after that. It just, I was just like, you need to go, you need to leave. And I said, we're done here. And after that incident, nothing ended up happening after that.
You testified it, you exercised it, you got it out of the house. You showed it who was boss.
Yeah. But from what I know, it was just an old man. Like he might have been. It might have been that apartment complex could have been built on top of like a previous establishment where the person happened to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Indian.
the weird thing is, a lot of spirits or whatever. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of spirits they end up getting like trapped in kind of like in a sense like a time loop. Like that's their purgatory. Is they go ahead and they live out the same thing that they were doing when they were alive. So he could have
Right.
just been walking around his house,
Exactly.
but in all retrospect, it was a brand new building with new tenants, new everything around
So another
world that could have just been his house.
another thing too, and then, again, I dived way deep into this when I was younger, is residual haunting. So you know how like a record player has the grooves in it to redo the echoes of a song, then that's how it's recorded. Is somehow, some way, the energy of
Yeah.
a person gets recorded into that spot, and for whatever reasons,
sir.
it gets replayed. You kind of this is a very loose explanation, but yeah, it could. Oh, man, that is so weird. But the fact that he's trying to turn on the light, and then you heard that shows some kind of intelligence in it. And I don't know. That is.
It was
I
able
mean, your
to
first one
manifest enough
freaked me out.
energy to
This one
actually
is.
fall.
Oh, God. Bravo, sir.
But
Bravo.
that was one of the very first times where I got an intelligent response from something that I asked. I asked and it gave me what I asked for.
Right.
And just like you were saying, it's the residual energy. That's the reason why abandoned hospitals and places like places filled with like death and everything like that. That's the reason why they're so haunted, is because that residual energy just gets trapped in the location.
Right.
And when you depending on I'm a firm believer that a lot of spirits and a lot of like things end up being stuck in purgatory, as people call it,
Right.
because they died not actually let go.
Right.
So they're literally just like some of spirits just wonder because they couldn't let go of life, trying to find in order to cross over.
Right. Jeez.
But that honestly was a very very I don't know, it was a very tame experience when it comes to the actual paranormal, because sometimes I mean just seeing an old man in a trailblazer type jacket, fedora type hat, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, it's just like he was a very calm spirit, and as soon as I told him to leave, and that he was starting to scare people, after that it was just never heard of again. And I actually didn't have any experience in that house after that incident. Zoe didn't come to me and tell me anything about anything else that she saw. The mom didn't say anything, the whole 9 yards. It
Right.
was it was it was just one of those experiences where it's scary in the moment, of course, but I mean,
Right. Oh, did we lose you again all of a sudden? We weren't even talking about that much that time. There we go. There we go.
I think it's just more of the detail.
Right. So, like, in like talking about that, honestly, with you just saying "get out," that might have been like the thing it needed to get out.
Hmm.
Lady Ray asks, "Did sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Did your GF ever go back into the apartment after that?"
Oh, she did. Plenty of times.
But never. Yeah, that was the one
Didn't-
thing. The one time it happened with
Yeah.
her. But that is wild. Wild, wild.
Like, I mean, the girls from the first story. I mean, I could understand you not ever wanting to, do anything
Mm-hmm.
after that. Not wanting to be even remotely in that area. But I mean, it's not like it was like a demonic possession type, incident. Which I mean, that would have gotten way worse if it like that. In fact, if that does end up ever happening to people in situations, like, not only do you need to take care of yourself, but you need to take care of everybody that you're around and or come in contact with.
Definitely. Like, that is a for real thing right there. One sec. There's one thing I can't remember that I wanted to ask you. No, we pretty much covered everything that I wanted on that one. Is there anything else that we want to dig into? I know you have the stories. You have the big one. We're going to definitely save that other big one for part 2. Like, let me ask this. Let me ask this. So, I know
Yeah.
you told me that you haven't really told too many people these stories and stuff.
Nope.
And
This is the first time I've opened up about it.
And first off, thank you. Again, I appreciate you so much for taking the time and the courage to talk to me and my friends here to explore this journey together with you. Since talking about this, how does it make you feel like about the whole thing? You're a lot older now. Almost an old man, older than me. I'm joking.
Yeah.
But like, now you have that maturity level of looking back on these things. Like, what do you see different? Like, you get what I mean?
I see it differently, in a sense that I know how to help people that are experiencing these types of things. Like I said before with a disclaimer, don't go hunting this stuff. Like, it's not it's fun to see on TV. It's fun to, like, experience it from a different perspective, but when you're actually in the thick of it, it's like one of those traumatic experiences. Like, you don't know exactly how you're going to react to it until it actually happens to you. And it's not something that you should go looking for, period. But I do now, if somebody else comes to me and tells me that that something's happening to them. These are some weird coincidences. They might think that they have a haunting. I've actually had to step in a few times and see if I can't actually, like, throw myself into the thick of it, to help them, because I know firsthand on what ends up happening when you do delve into this type of stuff. And like I've told multiple people, I am not scared of the living whatsoever. I don't if I can physically see you, look at you, and you are in front of me, you do not scare me, because I faced things that you can't explain and that you can't see. So, like, that, once you break down that barrier, it's not really something that scares you anymore, but it will scare the hell out of somebody that's going through it, because
Right.
it's just a pick and choose type of situation. It's like anything else in life. These types of incidences can help happen to somebody that just doesn't believe in the paranormal or spirits or anything in general.
Right. Right.
And I've had the incidences where people come to me and they tell me like, hey, this has been happening. I don't know how to really, and the weird thing is, it's like, it's the reason why I haven't opened up about these before is because it's kind of like a taboo topic to talk about. It's not something that just everyday casual conversations.
Right.
So the people that come to me and tell me about this stuff, they're like, I don't know how to explain it to anybody. I don't know how to tell people about this. And I'm like, well, you came to the right person, because I will sit here, I will listen. I won't judge you for anything that you're telling me, because I've experienced these same things and I know how to handle them. So I've just kind of matured more with it. Do I go out and try to find this stuff again? No. I'm not stupid like that anymore. But if it does come to my front door, I I know how to actually take care of it.
Definitely. And that takes time, maturity, experience. Like that's a big thing that uh, if most people fear the unknown, right? Like if they don't know it, they fear it, they hate it, they get angry at it or whatnot. Different emotions come with that, and when you experience it, then you can kind of mature on it and understand that you have control. I'm a big believer that words have power, and as you kind of said multiple times throughout your story, like single words will get things to move or go from you being yelled at to get out, run, or you telling that entity to get out. Things happened, and that's just the way it is like words have power. So I'm a big believer in the faith of myself. Demons, angels, definitely real. Spirits, that's what I'm trying to understand myself right now. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying they aren't real, but uh, it's just absolutely crazy. There's too many stories out there that it can't not be real. There has to be something. So
We live in a time where like nothing's impossible at this time. At this time, man, like anything can happen. So it's like I've never wanted to be a one like a closed-minded person. Like I can understand if somebody like it, everybody goes through different things, so I can understand from different perspectives if something happened to somebody. And just like you said, there's way too many stories and there's way too much quote unquote like facts,
right.
to just say, oh, this is just a coincidence. And I'm also a firm believer that energy is neither created nor destroyed, so it's got to go somewhere.
Got to go somewhere. Yeah, I got a quick question from Gamers for God, my brother. Do you feel that your actions invite this type of experiences, or does it just feel random?
No, 100%. At first, yes. I mean, when you're not looking for it, it will be at random. But just like I said before, when I was 14, 15 years old, and I legitimately thought like the devil ruined my life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I turned around and I was all like, well, then if you're going to ruin my life, well, then I'm going to find the demons that you apparently, control, and
Right.
I'm going to get them over to my side. That right there, that opens the door that I tell you guys to not open.
Right.
Like, do not go chasing this, because when you go ahead and you put that energy out there, the biggest thing is spirits are attracted to many different things, but energy is the one of the biggest things that they are attracted to. So if you're always pissed off and angry, that's like a beacon. They will literally flock right to that. If you have a mischievous type, energy to you, then they will go ahead and flock to that. If you're trying to purposely look for it, it will end up finding you.
Right.
And that's why I always tell people, like, there's a reason why I act the way that I do. There's a reason why I present myself the way that I do. Because the difference between, like, me looking at Hero and talking to Hero personally, he can't necessarily delve into my mind and my emotions and the inner spiritual, like, being of myself. But spirits and people, then especially demons in general, they already know everything about you. They
Right.
know your deepest, darkest secrets. They know what you don't tell people. They know
Mm-hmm.
what you're afraid of. They
Right.
know it's literally like looking at your life's book right in front of them, and they will do absolutely anything to exploit your fears,
100%
everything
agree.
in.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, like, you have to go ahead and when you do things or you feel certain ways, you have to be very genuine and you have to, like, really feel that way because, like, if you're hiding something, it's still a beacon. Like, they already know what your true intentions are in a sense, and it will draw them right to you. And that's why I always feel like which this is weird. I mean, you can agree or disagree with me, Hero. Um, I honestly feel like people that are pissed off and negative all the time literally purposely bring that type of spiritual energy to them
Hmm.
that like legitimately like they might not even know it, but something could be attached to them that will legitly like try to ruin their life
I
and just make them even more pissed off and angry all the time because that's the only energy that they're putting out there. So they're like a beacon for these spirits or whatever it may be, the fate or stuff like that. That'll be like if you want to put this energy out there, this is what you're going to get in return.
I totally get that. There was a moment in my life where everything kind of flipped upside down, and it just like it felt like the weight of the world was on me, and everything was just going the wrong way. It's like how does that even happen? I wasn't even involved in this, and then this batch crap happened to me, and you know, I'm sure yourself, you know this. Almost every person you can ask that knows me knows this now, that I live in positivity and I try to let it completely overtake me, you know, and being positive and spreading it, because I don't like feeling that. Ever since I started being positive, almost everything has been going well for me. So I totally get where you're coming from with that.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah.
And it's weird. It's like because as soon as you start being negative and you start being angry, like all of a sudden it's like a sudden flip, and all of a sudden like just a bunch of bad stuff starts happening to
Right
you.
away.
And that's why after a while, because and when I tell people like if you knew me about 10, 15 years ago, you would see a completely different adult.
Hmm.
Like I or a child, teenager, like I was very pissed off, I was very depressed. I was very, just an angry individual. And I think that was like the beacon, the door opening
Right.
that literally was like after a while and once I got tired enough and I just literally broke down and I noticed that pattern, I was able to break out of it. And ever since then, since I've been positive and I've been trying to put that energy out that I want to receive, I don't have these nightmares of me waking up drenched in sweat. I don't have these weird occurrences, where I feel like something's attached to me. I don't feel any of this type of stuff anymore. But yet again, like I don't go knocking on its door either.
Right. That's deep, man. Quick question from CT Vallejos. What up, sis? She asked, "Have you ever did or played with an Ouija board?"
No, actually, I refuse to. In fact, one of my friends growing up when I was in middle school, he had a it. Wow, that actually goes into another story. Yeah,
Let's do it real
wow,
quick.
wow,
We got time.
that literally just like sparked another thing.
Let's get these
Um,
dominoes knocked over.
yeah, yeah. No, he had a Ouija board and he didn't tell me about it. Yeah, and he had a Ouija board in his house, and I remember staying the night at his house one time. I woke up and there was a face on the ceiling, like staring at me, like straight up. And I when I there and there was a couple of other times where when I stayed at his house, because he lived in a basement and then he had this little like greenhouse, that go into his backyard. So you literally could like just see through to the backyard.
Right.
I could like see something like in the greenhouse. And I told him about it, and he was all like, "Oh, I don't know anything about that really, but I mean it could be because I have a Ouija board." And I was like, "What?"
Thanks.
Like I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he legit he went into his like crawl space basement type thing. He pulled out a whole Ouija board. And I was like, "Okay, so you have two options now. It's either you get rid of this Ouija board or we're not friends anymore, period. I was all,
Get rid
I
of
was
this
like,
doorway, please.
yeah. I was like, I will leave and never come back again. I was like, we are not friends again. Needless to say, he got rid of the Ouija board. And the funny thing about that is once he got rid of the Ouija board, nothing weird ended up happening around his house again.
So
Funny how that works.
you have a quote unquote, doorway, and then you are apparently a magnet. Let's put those two things together and see what happens.
Yeah. And that was way before I even started delving into the whole, trying to find spirits and everything. I think it's just it's mainly my Native American heritage that like already pushes me into that realm of spirit. Like that's just how it is.
Definitely, I have a cousin who's Native American, and like man, I don't want to dive too deep into this until like I want to get him on here to explain some things, but I know he never will. Maybe I can get his mom because his mom is the one who told me everything. But the weirdest shit I have ever felt or experienced was at his house, and then his dad would tell some stories and stuff, and like Native American stories scare me. Like there's so much history and like I want to say truth to it, but anybody can tell a story, but it just felt real. Like, and then it messed with me like more than any other story has ever messed with me. So I
Oh
get
yeah,
that.
because it's embedded in the culture, the heritage of it.
Hmm.
We used to have whole on like seances and like chanting circles and like it's embedded in the actual the blood of native people.
Right.
So it makes perfect sense that, I mean, even passed down through generations. And even now, we kind of live in a time period where they're trying to phase out Native American heritage and silence Native Americans because they're, from what I get from it, they're just embarrassed of, what America to the natives,
Hmm.
that it's just being pushed out even more. So that's just we're living in a weird time where like even natives are pushing even more to be heard, and because they're pushing more to be heard, that like that residual energy from like decades and decades of ancestry, just it's coming back to the surface
It,
because of it.
going right back to what we were just saying, all that negative, all that hatred, all that everything, it's bringing more out. That is
Yes.
absolutely wild.
Yes, because I mean, when you get a group of people that were personally honored and all of this type of stuff, and now
One second. Let it reset for a second. I want to hear what you have to say. So, okay. We back?
yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah, okay. So, go right back to what you were just saying.
Oh, okay. So, what I was saying is when you have people like the Native Americans that have been like persecuted and slaughtered and all this type of stuff, that now even all the way down the line they're trying to be like silenced and phased out of history in general. That is already a storm for a
Right.
bunch of negative,
Right.
very very powerful like anger. Like it's just gonna bubble right back up and more stuff's gonna end up happening.
That is it hits too close to home. Like I totally get it. Well, I think I'm going to pause you there, and I want to start asking chat because I want more of this. But we definitely are going to do a part 2 with you sometime down the road. So please, everybody, anybody who, if you're watching on YouTube, I can't see your chats. I apologize. If you're watching on Instagram, I can't see that. So if you have questions, please hop over to Twitch and you can ask your questions there. And this is a moment I would like to take to ask chat, to ask Hawk your questions. Is from the screaming pentagram forest cabin in the woods to the old man haunting the apartment to the friend with a demon door called a Ouija board trying to get you. Like, what questions do you guys have for Hawkman here tonight? But again, first off, as there, if anybody's typing, I have a question for you. Is how does this feel? How does it feel letting it all out?
Oh, it's nice, man. I was like, it's just like I said, it's like a taboo subject that like nobody wants to talk about, because they don't know how to necessarily go about it.
Mm-hmm.
But me, I'm just all like, I don't care, man. I will have a yap session about anything.
Right. Yeah, and like you said, this has this whole subject too. Like I believe, like I do, but because I believe, I'm also a big skeptic on vast majority of people, because people can tend to let their over imagination take over about it and everything. And talking with friends and stuff, because like there was a moment where me and Ray were really looking into try to do the whole ghost hunting thing and everything, and we were learning and talking to some professionals like, this is how you have to debunk things. Like 99% of the time it's nothing cool. There's a reason. It's pressure from the air pressure. It's unexposed wiring that's causing an electric field that's making somebody feel sensitive in a certain spot of the house. But there are those moments that are real. And let's see. I have a question from CT. Have you ever tried? What does that mean? Communication to communicating with it. Communicating with what? Oh, sorry. You said I see the second one. You hit send too early. Have you ever tried communicating with any of the spirits that you have seen, or is that part of that one story that you're saving for us? Because you said you kind of were looking to.
It's part of the story that I'm saving.
Okay, so that one is to be determined.
I've communicated with things. Yes, I've communicated with things, and I've had a very it just actually dawned in another one, a very traumatic experience that actually kickstarted everything for me. It was. I will save that for another time. Probably maybe at the beginning of maybe the next episode or something like that, because it just now dawned on me.
Make sure you write that down before you forget.
Yeah, I know, right? But a lot of these experiences end up coming back. But yes, I have communicated with entities and stuff like that. Not like not like the way that the movies portray it and everything like that. But I mean, even at one time, like when you were saying that you guys were trying to go out ghost hunting, my dumb ass over here, I was like, you know what? Sitting here looking on Google and Amazon, how much is a spirit box?
we were there. We were looking. We almost bought all of it. We almost dropped a few $1,000s on stupid ass equipment that was just dumb. Okay, we got another question from Lady Ray. This is more of a heritage. Do you feel that this may be a reason why your experiences happen is because your heritage?
I think it's partially, to be honest. I mean, it's not a full on, because I mean, there's people that literally they could have Native American blood in them or any type of stuff like that. But they just don't really try to tap really mainly into it. Growing up, I didn't really care about my heritage too much. I didn't care that I was Hispanic. I didn't care that I was part white. I didn't care American. So even around that time, like I didn't really care about that type of stuff. I just feel that just having that blood inside me from my ancestors and everything through the generations, that just kind of is like, it's kind of like a little bit of a catalyst. It's like when people are just naturally good at specific things and stuff like that, they just have natural talents towards stuff. You can go ahead and you can lean more into that if you have that natural talent, or you can just kind of disregard it and just be like, whatever. Right. But me, over the last, I would say I don't know, like 6-7 years, especially with everything that I hear on the internet and I see in the papers and everything like that, I've leaned a lot more into my native side, just because it's just not something that I want to end up it letting go and being, phased out of history in general. Even though I'm technically my ancestry isn't from like America. Well, part of it is from America,
Right.
but another main part of it is just from Mexico.
Of course.
The part that is from America is I'm actually part Miami Indian as well,
Oh, cool.
which
Cool.
they were based here in America.
Right. We're gonna have to like put up a whole map and everything because man, the different Indian tribes and stuff, I get confused. Rachel tries to explain stuff to
Oh
me,
yeah.
and it's hard to even pronounce some of those names. So we have another
Oh
question
yeah.
from Caustic One, and I kind of like this one, and I'll definitely put my opinion on this. But from a moral standpoint, does it feel wrong of God to allow? Wait, where'd it go? To allow spirits to linger here.
Be completely honest, in me personally, no. I was gonna say, I mean, you have to realize that there is a balance, a yin and yang, if you will. There has to be good, there has to be evil.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that pisses me off the most is when bad things happen in the world, people always blame God as why does he let this happen?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense because I mean at the same time it can be we could just be living through a time that is very bad, we could be living through a time that is very good, just like we were discussing earlier. It could be literally just the emotions of humans and humanity in general that are starting to sway these said spirits to cause all of this bad stuff to happen. Like you
Right.
have to look at it from a different, not, oh, if he's so almighty, then why is he letting all of this happen? Well, I mean, they have restrictions as well, just like we do. There has
Right.
to be good and there has to be evil.
Yeah. Not to get too deep into it, but yeah, I agree with you. And like, if he can just change everything, then he would have just made a perfect world. We are in a point where we have to make those choices ourselves because we have free will. So I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I agree with you. You definitely we're pretty good on that one. Oh no, gamers pretty much saying the same thing that we are. It's a pretty deep question. It's a good question. We could probably talk about it for an hour just on that.
Mhm.
Let's see what else.
I just chop it up to if people are always pissed off and angry all the time, and that the majority of the world's like that, then why do you think good things are going to come out of that?
Right. Okay. And I gotta say this one from gamers. God did make a perfect world. Man destroyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yep. Constant battles of good and evil. That is what we are as humans. We are born. We're beings of chaos. Like naturally. If there's been many studies where they take toddlers and stuff and they properly raise a good person and then just let a kid do whatever the hell they want. That kid, whoever grew up doing whatever the hell they want, is just a freaking monster. And as long as you have law, order, structure, outstanding citizen, and then yeah, but that is a whole different topic. We're getting a little off the beaten path on that one. We'll definitely go down it one day. But
Oh, I was gonna say, man, Yap sessions doesn't have to be about this as well. We could
right.
literally just have a whole-on Yap sessions about anything.
So
Sitting down and being able to talk with you just in general is great. It's
it
better than
is.
the 15 minutes at work.
Right, I know we can't. It was like, and then everyone get the little time I get to talk to everybody, and I laugh because Rachel's always making fun of me, and my daughter's currently working with us, and she's like, every time I see you, you're always talking to somebody. It's like, because I'm a cool guy. People like to come and talk to me, and it's again that positivity that I like to give out to people and stuff because. I know what I'm doing. A lot of people come to me for advice, and I just try to make everyone's day just a little bit better. But yeah, man, like to lighten the mood a little bit. Tell me what what do you got going on in your life? What do you want the world to know about Hawk as before we start to wrap this thing up? Like, you want people to start following you on any social media? You want them to leave you alone? and
To be
definitely.
completely honest, man, I was gonna say you can follow me on whatever. I mean, I was gonna say it's just Gage Hawk on whatever, but I mean, it's just like I'm just here. I'm just here because you decided to invite me and stuff like that. I'm not full on, I don't got no TikToks. I don't got this. I just have, my Facebook, Instagram stuff like that. I used to do music. I just kind of chill, do my own thing, stuff like that. But of course, I mean, if this ends up going further, and you end up poking me some more, I
Oh,
might have to start something up myself.
that would be great. Again, I want to push people forward, and you said you do your own music, like you create your own. Well, what kind of music is it?
I used to do rap, and it's been like probably like 6 years rapping
Oh, we're
for a
getting.
while. Colorado's just it's a weird state.
It is. It is. Like I have respect for rap. I have respect for all music. I listen to everything from classical music. There's the times I love to listen to some Bach, some Beethoven, to rap, of course. Um, my biggest thing I go to is rock, of course, like early '80s, '90s rock. That's where I get a lot of my inspiration from is from there. Uh, my buddy got me into like dubstep, and another friend got me into another one called kickstep. I think it's called. I forgot. I have it. I have it on my playlist. I listen to Christian music. I listen to country. And the older I get, the more I relate to so many more things too, which is great. Like my playlist, I'm gonna have to show it one day. Is just it's so effing random. You do not know what is going to play next. So, but maybe I can get you to do me a little rap outro one day for my for my what do you want to call this? Talk show, podcast? Can't really say
Yeah,
podcast.
your little podcast. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
So I
We'll
have
make it. We'll
gamers.
make it sound like Sonic Battle Adventure 2 style.
Oh, that is lit right there. That's all I want. Be like, what was it? Live and Let Live. Is that the name of the song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
So, but
I
that.
always remember.
But yes. All right. Any final words? Anything else you need to quickly let off your chest, there, brother?
Nah, man. I was gonna say we had almost like a good 2-hour yap session. We had a little bit of technical difficulties in between, but I mean, all in all, I think it was a success. If you're
Yeah,
happy with it, my
dude.
dude, then I'm happy.
It's better than I thought it would ever be, and like this is something I've been wanting to do like all my life. I was literally telling Ray because they tore down a local radio station here, and when they tore it down, like man, it hurt. Like because like growing up, going right back into music. Like I loved listening to the radio. I loved listening to the DJs. I loved calling in to do game shows, to answer the questions, to request a song. Hey, it's my mama's birthday. This is her song that she wants. Shout out to my mama, and they'd play that song just for her, and then she would hear that and get happy and stuff. And that's something I wanted to do. But as soon as I got into high school, it was very, very apparent radio wasn't going to be around much longer, so I decided to get away from that. But the next closest thing that was starting to pick up was this. So, like, I always wanted to try it, but I never knew how. I kind of gave up on tech and everything. I was really good in high school, and I was going to go to college for it and everything, but I decided, to have kids and gotta support them. So now that they're old enough to do their own thing, and I get to do this and start focusing on me, this is like my dream come true. This dude, just if this is the only episode to ever come out, cool. I think it was a huge success. So thank you for hanging out with me, for going on freaking 2 hours. I didn't think we were going to make it 2 hours. I was like, man, it's going to probably last for like 30 minutes, and it's going to, I'm going to ask him all the questions, and then
I was about to say, man, if we don't step away from each other at work, we have 2-hour yap sessions.
Oh,
so, I mean,
100%.
Like, come on, it's me and you.
Yeah, and the tangents that we can get on, we start with paranormal, we will end in Sega Saturn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%, man.
But oh man, right on. You rock, brother. Chat, thank you for hanging out. Everybody who started from beginning or just showing up, thank you. I hope Instagram works. If some people were telling me the Instagram wasn't working, like it kicks them out. So I don't know how to fix that. I gotta learn how to do that. But I think this is a good spot where we're gonna say right on. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for Hawk. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, my dude.
And I want to leave on a positive note. Like, if you guys, anybody out there listening, wants to, take the step up, take the plunge, and tell your story here so we can work, your stuff out like we did today, hit me up. Like, I want to hear it. I want to hear everyone's story. I want to open my heart out to you guys, and you open yours to me, and we will walk this journey together, because that's what we do. We lift each other up, we pull each other forward, we push each other forward. So, thank you for a new cheer. That is awesome. What did you get us to? Oh wow. Oh, is that for bits? Look at that. That's my first bit right there. I've never gotten bits on Twitch.
That's what I'm talking about.
So right on, guys. I appreciate you so much. So we will call it good. Again, Hawk, my brother, thank you for being here. And to everybody else, thank you for hanging out. Here comes all the bits now. Signing off. You guys have been great. Let's keep this thing going, and I'll stay tuned or to the social medias and stuff for episode 2. I'm not sure when it'll come, but we will get there. You guys are awesome. Oh my goodness, they're giving even more bits. Oh, right on, guys. Have a good night. Peace out. Signing off. Good night.